Hey, good afternoon. How's everybody? I see you.
Doing
Okay,
good.
hi, Nico, right? Nico,
Yep.
how are you?
Good. How about you?
We're still Hmm?
Doing good. How about you?
Good, very good. Um, I would like you to turn on your camera if possible, right? I'd like to, I know you can stay muted because obviously, we don't want any background noise to interfere, but you can turn on the camera, okay? If not, if at least use a profile picture, okay? You can now. So I see we have, currently we have only, six people. Um, we have six people, and I believe, still some people are joining. All right. So without further ado, let me share my screen. Let's get started. And first, I will try to walk you through, right? I will try to walk you through. Um, and since I've already sent a couple of emails, us, and I have already assigned videos to watch, in advance. So we should get started with the first topic already today. But let me first walk you through this Blackboard uh, uh, layout, configuration, and the structure. Let me. So I'll share entire screen first. All right, this is what you see for now. Let me go to. Okay, so the first thing you need to do, right? Oh, when you when you come into the Blackboard, the first thing you will need to do is to go to today's forum, right? So right now, this is the only forum that you can see. I have already forum for every day built in there, but for today's forum is only visible what you can see now. And I see there are already like uh, 10 people. So if there are 10 people that have signed in, then they should be on the Blackboard. They should also be on the they should also be on the Collaborate. But somehow I don't see all of these people in the Collaborate. Okay. I see 9 people, and I can't. And Abraham, is Abraham here?
Yes.
Okay, Abraham. What form you can't find?
Oh, that
I mean,
the
forum.
discussion board.
Yeah. Well, why can't you find it?
Well, because I was
See.
on this earlier, and
Mhm.
it was like it
Oh,
didn't
it
show up
didn't go.
that.
It wasn't visible, right?
Yeah.
I believe it wasn't visible because this. So I said it opens. The forum opens exactly at 6 p.m. So
Oh.
now you can see that. And if you go to the discussion board, and you will find today's forum,
Mhm.
there's only one forum that's visible. Go in there, and on the upper left, there's that create thread, and click on it, and enter your last name first because last name, your last name first, and comma, first name. Okay, and it's important because your names are sorted by the last name on the roster, and that's in all official document, it's the last name. You're being classified and sorted by the last name, so you follow that order. And in the message, in the body message body of the message, just say, nothing much to say, just, hello professor, this is so and so reporting for attendance, or something like that. Hit submit, and that's it. All right. And then once you have done that, you can look into my posting, which is basically giving you direction to today's lecture, lecture videos. Now, Abul Hassan, Abul, are you here? Abul?
Yeah, I believe I posted it to the wrong place.
Yeah, you need to do it. You have to have your own discussion thread there, because today's the first day. So by clicking on this, today's the first day. So I would look into everything, but normally I don't have much time to scrutinize everything. And usually, if the names are declared here, this is automatically the sign-in sheet. I look at these names in alphabetical order, and I can match it with the roster, and I will mark your, attendance. Okay, so please do so. And then the next thing, of course, you are all in Collaborate, so that's why you can hear me. The next thing you need to check out, first of all, in my thread, it says, go to course material, topic 1, ROI videos, return on investment videos, part 1 through part 6. Okay, and this was already pre-assigned, right? So if you go to course material, it was already pre-assigned. I mean, this folder was already visible since yesterday. This folder was already visible since yesterday. Now you don't see them. These are the future topics, upcoming topics, but they are not active yet. This is the only thing that is active. And these videos and these files were already visible since yesterday. So the gray ones are not active yet. It's going to be visible from tomorrow. And each video is like 30 minutes long. There are 1-hour videos, but altogether they are like 3 hours, because there are 6 videos, right? It's like 3 hours.
So
Our
these
class,
videos will cover the topic for the week?
no. Yeah, it's not for the week. Look, these are these videos are the first topic will be covered in 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Covered over just span of 3 days. We have, think about it, we have over 5 weeks.
For these 3 days, this is the week. That's the whole week, though, right?
Oh yeah. The first 3 days is the first week, but see, there are more videos to come. Okay, so ideal thing is, I mean, with this FNB 100, Finance 100, I stretched it a little. So I made these videos already available so that you can read. I already sent out an email. This is like, a reading assignment, but instead of reading, is video watching assignment. Okay, Now, technically, since today's the first day, technically, there could be no pre-assigned reading or pre-assigned reading for today, but because we are on a very tight schedule, I had to assign it already, to be watched yesterday. Because if you watch these videos today, then we'll have to discuss this topic tomorrow, and we are being delayed by one day, and it's gonna be a disaster. We won't be able to cover everything by the end of the summer session, by the end of the term. So I hope you have already watched, if not everything, but at least a part of it. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to conduct, a discussion session today. Now, these are files, right? You see, there are. It says at the bottom, files to go with the video. So please download the above files and use them with the video. Okay, it is imperative that you use. So my lecture, right, in the video, and if you took a look at my video, if you watched my video, you would notice Excel file being used there. You must have noticed some PowerPoint being used there. That's these, right? So you need to download these files and you need to use them, right, as we go on. Now, this is a PDF file, but it's a PowerPoint, PDF version of the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint saved in PDF file. This is Excel file, and this is crucial. So I want you to download them now, so you can open them and work together with me while I demonstrate the materials covered in the lecture video. And once you are done with the course materials, then let's go to the course information. In the course information, I believe you have read everything. Now, these are not visible to you, and of course, it doesn't matter, because this is what you need, because online syllabus, that's a standard syllabus for regular semester. You need summer syllabus, so this is not necessary for summer, so the link is hidden. And office hours. Now, the office hour will be held on Zoom, because the office hour is not only for this class. I teach another class between 3 p.m. to 5:15. So it's another class. It's business to 10. And I will have to squeeze in, I will have to accommodate students from different courses. So it cannot be on Blackboard, because a student from business to 10 course cannot join this collaborate session because it's a different course, and the student from another class doesn't have the access to this collaborate. So there should be a neutral ground. So if you need to see me during my office hour, today's is already over, but let's say from in the future. But please schedule ahead. Email me. Email to this email address. This is my personal email address. The office hour is Monday through Thursday, every day, 30 minutes. Now, during these 30 minutes, sometimes I may be able to schedule 2 people into these 30 minutes. But sometimes the questions, issues may be addressed within 15 minutes. Sometimes it takes longer. So just to be on the safe side, I can accommodate only one person. I can schedule only one person per day. So email me, send email to my personal email, and I will schedule you for for one office hour. Now, just for your information, I hear these, ding. I hear this ding noise. That means you are typing into the chat box. But please. So, are you looking at? Everyone is looking at the course information, right?
Professor,
I
I
can
have a question.
say that again.
I have a question.
Okay, hold on. But answer my question first. You are looking at the same screen that I'm looking at.
Yes.
Isn't that right? Okay, good. So my screen is projected to you. Good. And so let me answer your question. So let me get back to the Collaborate. Okay, so yeah, what is your question? Let me first, Abraham. Okay, then Abroback.
Me.
Okay.
Yes.
Problem with Connect. Okay, Professor Rand
Can I
is
explain
having.
more? Can I explain more? What's the problem?
Yes, but there was someone who was trying to ask questions. So let me know who wants to ask question. First of all, Abroback. Okay, and then who was the other person who wanted to ask question? So I believe that is only Abroback, right?
I had a question
Okay, so,
about the textbook. Are the videos?
yeah. Who is? Okay, hold on. Who is this? Is it Abroback?
No, this is Abul.
Abul. Okay, so let me answer you, Abul, first, and then I will get to you, Abroback. Okay, Abroback, you're next in line. All right. Yeah.
So my question was, so I've seen part 1 and 2 of the videos.
Mhm.
Is it related to the textbook chapters? Should we read them first before watching the videos, or?
No, you don't have to. Why? Because the first topic is my own original material. First topic is my original material, and the chapter in the textbook, the first chapter, it has a very small common. It has very small common ground. In other words, the common ground in the chapter 1 of the book, only the monetary policy part, only the yield curve and monetary policy part only. So the book doesn't have book chapter doesn't have about 80% of what I'm talking about in the first topic. Okay, so it's not necessary to read that part ahead, but
So would we
if
need
you have
the book for chapter 2? I haven't purchased the book yet, so I'm asking by when would
chapter
we...
2, chapter 2 is not this topic. Chapter 2 is a different topic. So don't worry about the book just yet. Okay, don't worry about the book.
Should we
Because
purchase it or wait until?
yeah. Let me get to that. Let me get to that. First, since I must be sharing. So I just posted this announcement. You should be there. Should be like three postings so far. The first one was this. Second one, class protocol, and the latest one. Yeah. Actually, so please read that. You see, so everyone is looking at, everyone is seeing what I'm seeing about the textbook. You see that? Say something, because
Yes.
I'm not looking at, I'm not looking at the Collaborate. I cannot look at the Collaborate when I'm looking at another web page. So unless you verbally confirm, there's no way. All right. So actually, so it's like this. I was using 4th edition. The chapter book, the textbook is, if you go to, where is my, okay. Are you looking at the syllabus now? I just switched the syllabus. Are you looking at it?
Yes.
Say something. Are you looking at the syllabus? Okay, good. So if you downloaded this syllabus, this is summer syllabus, and here's the textbook information. It's financed BMCC Custom Edition, right? But then if you click on that, it will take you there. This is where you can purchase the book directly from McGraw-Hill. But you can't purchase this anymore because they phased out. They moved on to the 5th edition already. So there's no longer 4th edition. 4th edition, regular 4th edition was already phased out last year. And I was clinging to the 4th edition because we still had inventory of, we still had the college bookstore, and McGraw-Hill had still, some inventory of custom edition, 4th edition, but they have already phased out 4th edition. And once they phase out older edition, the online course material is all gone. They don't allow access to it anymore because they move it all to the newer edition. So it's going to be on a new platform. So although that's the case, you can't, since you can't buy that, forget about it. Okay, you don't have to. The thing is, you can buy, and also we cannot use 5th edition yet because although it's available and it's in the market, it's very expensive. First of all, regular edition, 5th edition is expensive. And the custom edition, even the custom edition would be something like $89 or $90. And because summer is very short, summer session is very brief, we want, you can't, during the regular semester, I assign a lot of chapter problems. So the students have time to do the chapter problems, but during the summer, there's absolutely no time for that. So what I'm going to do is, you can you can buy 4th edition from Amazon, because 4th edition is now all used book. There's no new 4th edition. I mean, even you can find second-hand 5th edition. Doesn't matter. So in other words, it's a bargain hunt. You understand? 4th edition is already, you know, out of circulation. I mean, for in as far as the new books are concerned, you know, 4th edition is already out of circulation. If you can find 4th edition on Amazon, it will be probably under $10. Okay, so you can purchase 4th edition. That's fine. I'm not going to. And besides, you know, this class is not about the verbiage. This class is not about the verbiage. In this class, what this class requires is a algebraic thinking, analytical reasoning, logical reasoning, and algebraic thinking, not the verbiage. But you know, I understand some people are not comfortable when there is no text. So you may buy used book, 4th edition used book, or 5th edition used book, and the used books may be, you know, you can it's a bargain hunt. You may find something under $10.
Are there connect assignments?
No. I just said there won't be any connect assignment.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay, that's why, because to have we don't have time for that, first of all, because summer is short, and to have access, you have to purchase a new book, new 5th edition, and which will be at least like, you know, ebook. At least ebook will cost like $130, and hard copy new 5th edition will cost about $250 or something like that. So don't bother, you know, because I'm not gonna assign any connect problems. Okay, that's for regular semester, not for summer.
But
So
in the book
based
there will
on
be a
the
code, right, to access?
One person at a time. And first, let me get back to okay. So next questions. Second second person to ask question is Abrobek. Go ahead.
Yes, Professor. I'm also having problem because on my last semester there was like business law. I used this website Connect. It's also I purchased the book and they give me the code. You know, after that code, I did like all the assignments on this website, like Connect website. So, but right now I can find this like.
Now listen. The website is specific to that course. That was business law, and each the website is specific to each section of the course. I mean, if you took business law from Professor Claire or Claire, to each instructor, there is a specific course website for that course section or for that course, you know, in general. So the access code for that course cannot work for other course because there's a different website for other course, right? Think about it. It's not one access key for every course. Then think about it.
I know that, but I'm just saying that how I'm gonna connect to your class on the on the Connect. You saying we have to buy a book like for
No. I said we are not going to use Connect. You understand? Is it clear? We are not using Connect.
Okay.
Okay? You're just buying. I told you to just get a used book, 4th edition used book. So it's not gonna come with any access code because used book. Think about it. Used books cannot come with any access code. Access code is for the first owner who paid full price. And once that first owner has used that access code is associated with that person only, and it's only good for 1 year. It will expire after 1 year. And even though that person sells the book, right, to another person, then if that person sells the book, access code cannot transfer to that person to the second owner because access code was already associated and used by the first owner, the original owner. You understand?
Yes.
So if you buy a used book, there's no access code. Okay. Again, even if you have an access code, I'm not setting up this class on Connect because, as I said, it's summer. We have very short term, right? Short, summer session.
Yes.
There's no time for doing the chapter problems in Connect. I said already that is for regular semester, not for summer session. Okay.
Yes.
And next person, any question from? So I took two questions from 2 people. Any third person? Any third question?
Professor, is that how we gonna do the like quizzes? Where are we gonna do the quizzes from?
It's gonna be on Blackboard. I have already prepared quizzes and exams on the Blackboard. Okay, so it will be automatically graded. When you do it on Blackboard and submit it, it will be automatically graded.
You can do from course materials.
Look.
Where we can find the quizzes?
No, not yet. It's not posted yet. It's not posted yet.
Oh, okay.
And, if it's gonna be posted, if ever. See, assignments. Now it's all there. You just don't see. You cannot see them. You cannot see them. It's all gray. It's all gray. That means it's not visible to you, but it's visible to me, and it's gonna be. When it is time, I'm going to. Okay, this is irrelevant. So I will. Okay. So when it is time, I will activate them, and you will be notified ahead of time. Okay.
Okay.
All right. It's all there. I have already built them into the Blackboard. Okay, so again, about the textbook, just get any, we're not going to be using Connect materials, so just, buy any bargain, right? I said it's going to be a bargain hunt.
So the homework
All right.
is only quizzes, right? As I understand.
Yeah, there will be, no, listen, in my class, quiz is still a full-blown exam. There's no pop-up quiz, it's not a short quiz. Quiz means still a full-blown exam. But the only reason I call them quiz is because they carry less weight. They carry less weight than midterm and final. So that brings us to, okay, let me go back to the syllabus. So are you looking at the syllabus, everyone? Please let me know. Are you looking at the syllabus?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I need verbal answer because if you just type into the chat box, I can't see it. So here's the, if you're looking at the syllabus, look at the exam policy. So grading criteria. So there will be 6 6 exams actually, 6 exams. The first 2, while we are doing the first topic, there will be 2 exams, but they are called, practice test. Now, so what make up your semester grade? What makes up your semester grade will be basically coming from 4 exams, midterm and final, and 2 quizzes. It says 2 homeworks / quizzes, but it's not homework. It's going to be quiz, okay? 2 quizzes. So the midterm will be given at the midpoint of the semester. Final, of course, at the end. First quiz will be at the first quarter point. That's why it is first quiz, first quarter point. And then quiz 2 will be given at the third quarter point. Okay, makes sense? Now, I told you my quizzes are full-blown exams, but it's just called quiz because they carry smaller weight. So each quiz is 20%. So there are 2 quizzes, so that makes 40% of your semester grade. And the midterm and final are 25% each, 25% respectively. So they make up 90%. Okay, 90%. And then 10% comes from the attendance. Now, it's actually attendance and participation. So let me go back to class protocol. So you're looking at this, the posting in the announcement, right? I believe this was emailed out to you already. Is everyone looking at what I'm looking at? Are you all looking at the class protocol?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now it says attendance is 10% of your grade, and therefore, first of all, if you report your attendance in the discussion board within the first 30 minutes, then you get, it's recognized as present, which is equivalent to 0.25 points. And if after that you will, if your attendance report is after 30 minutes, after 30-minute point, then it will be recognized as late. You get 0.1 point, 0.1. So the total, I mean, if you are, so think about it, if you are present every day, and summer, we have 4 days, we meet Monday through Thursday, so 0.25 times 4 times 5 weeks. So that's going to make up 5 points. Okay, that's going to make 5 points. And then, so if you have perfect attendance, 5 points, you earn 5 points. And then, from time to time during the class, in the collaborate session, I'm going to ask some questions. And if you give me a great answer, you'll get one extra point. Okay? And a good answer, 0.5 point. Average answer, 0.25 point. Suppose you gave me 5 great answers, then you get 5 points. So the total, your total of your attendance point will be 10. Okay, so think of it this way. Let's say, just hypothetically, you got 100 in first quiz, 100 in the midterm, 100 in the second quiz, 100 in the final. The weighted average of all of that will be 90, because 100, think about it, 100 times 0.25, right? First quiz and second quiz weighs 25%. So 100 times 25 times 2, 100 times 20 times 2, that's then 40, right? And then midterm and final 25%. So 100 times 0.25 times 2, 50, right? So they all add up to 90. And if you got perfect attendance and gave me 5 great answers, you get 10 for attendance and participation. So then the weighted average of all of that will be 100. Okay, but think about it. That's not realistic because it's not likely that you are going to get 100 in everything. So let's say you didn't get, you got less than 100 in each exam. So let's say the weighted average of all the exams and quizzes are something, less than 100, of course. It's going to be, let's say 80 or, 75 or whatever. But then in the participation, from the participation, if you give me, there's no limit. Think about it. If you give me 10 great answers, if you gave me 10 great answers, your attendance and participation points will be 15. If you gave me 15 great answers and a perfect attendance, then your attendance and participation points will be 20, right? So what you fall short in the exam score, you can make it up by giving me a great answer, giving me multiple great answers in the discussion. Okay, I don't know how many questions I may ask. It may not be every session, or I may ask multiple questions during a single session. Okay, but it's always in your best interest to stay keen on the collaborate session, during the collaborate session. Okay, now, so that pretty much I believe answers the questions that you have. Another, what else do I need to? I believe. Okay, so let's go to the. Okay, and also sometimes people just log in and then log into collaborate sessions, stay quiet. I mean, there's no way I can monitor if the person is really, because if you're not turning on your camera, I don't know if you're paying attention or not. Sometimes some people take advantage of that situation. They just log into the collaborate session and just take care of something. They do something else. They go away. So here's the thing. See, I didn't know. It's not this one, I guess. It's not this one. Okay. It is set up basically, this is, I can set it up like, starting time, ending time, recurring, which day, of course it's Monday through, and then, other things, allow recording or not. But here, in the past, I didn't even look at this feature. And you're looking at the Blackboard setup. You're looking at the Collaborate setup too, right? You're looking at the same thing. Tell me, that I heard that ding. That means somebody dropped a line in the chat box, but I don't. There's no way I can. Yeah. Okay. So there's attendance reporting. I didn't know this before, but see, I just discovered this feature. I don't know if it was there in the past semesters, but it sets some. It allows me to set some parameter. So it will record. See, it will automatically record if you are joining the session 30 minutes after. If you're 30 minutes, then it will be marked as late. And if you join the session 120 minutes later from the beginning of the session, then you'll be marked absent. Now think about it. This is a 2-hour, 15-minute class, 2-hour, 15 minutes. So it's 135 minutes, right? So if you are logging into Blackboard and logging into Collaborate, after 120 minutes, after 2 hours, you are practically absent from class. And also, here's another parameter, required time in session. So this session runs for 2 hours, 15 minutes, or more or less 2 hours, let's say, 2 hours and 15 minutes. You must be in the session at least 80% of the time. 80% of the time. 80% is something like this. If from 135 minutes, if you subtract 30 minutes, if you are in the session for at least 100 minutes, you must be in the session at least 100 minutes. You may come in and go out. You may you may get cut off, re-log in, and etc. But the total time you are logged in during the running time of the session, if you're logged in for more than 80% of the time, then that's the proof that you are present. If it is less than if you're logged in less than 80% of the time, then this is automatically cut off line. It automatically monitors whether you are in class or not. So please bear in mind, no hooky, okay? It can monitor, it can screen automatically, it can monitor whether you are playing a hooky or not, okay? Now, so that brings us to back to, okay, let's go to, so it's already 6:40 and 49. So let me go back to course material, topic 1. So I believe and I told you to download these files. And assuming that you have downloaded these files and you have watched, if you have watched most of these videos, if not all already, now we can start the discussion. So the first video must be talking about the distinction between okay, let's find okay, I got a lot of let me open up this. Are you looking at this are you looking at this PDF? Please tell me, are you looking at the same thing? Are you looking at the
Yes.
PowerPoint? Okay.
Yes.
This is actually okay. Great. So let me try to. Okay. So this. So return on investment. How many of you watched the first video? How many of you? If you raise your hand, let me see if I can. Okay, I heard 3 dings, so at least 3 people. And how many? Okay, I have 15 people currently. I have 15 people currently logged in. So out of 15 people, I see Ophelia has watched it, And but I heard 3 dings, right? I heard 3 dings. So only 3 people, or including Ophelia, 4 people. Okay, I want you to, if you didn't watch it yesterday, or if you didn't watch it, ahead, if you didn't watch it in advance, please, complete it. Please, finish those videos. Abraham, I haven't just, I just found out about it. Okay, look, the email was sent out, right? I believe I sent out that email on the 18th or 17th. But that's fine. Send the information. No. Listen, I cannot send it to your personal email because your school email is automatically built into. It's automatically built into the Blackboard system. Okay, let me show you. When I send email to the class, right? I go to Tools and send email, right? And then it goes to, and I check all users, okay? And if I compose email there and I submit it, it goes automatically to the email that is registered with Blackboard. So if you want to receive email, to your personal email, you need to change the email that is built into the Blackboard. And obviously Blackboard uses the Blackboard allows you in because you have BMCC email, right? The Blackboard is based on the BMCC or CUNY email. So basically Blackboard recognizes your CUNY email as the legitimate email, authentic email. You have to let Blackboard, basically you have to make Blackboard recognize, you have to let Blackboard know, you have to do it one way or the other if you want to receive it. I cannot individually send, email to your personal account. So anyway, as I said, if you haven't watched these videos in advance, they are there. I mean, it was originally supposed to be released today. I mean, that's how it works. That's how it is, because today's the first day of the class. Technically, you are not allowed to. You cannot listen to the lecture before the first day of the class. I mean, that's basically what normally how it goes. But I just allowed these videos even from the 19th, right? Because I wanted you to get prepared before you come to the discussion. But anyway, that's fine. You should finish watching these, today, so that because we cannot finish the discussion today, this discussion will continue tomorrow as well, and until the first topic. See, the first topic will be, it's sequenced this way. It's gonna last until 22nd, so there are more videos to come. So at least until 22nd or 23rd, we're gonna continue to discuss the first topic. Okay, so but the thing is, you should finish watching the assigned videos for that day. Okay, don't let it pile up. So let me go back to so you might have if you have also, because in the video this file is being used in the video, this file is being featured in the video, so you might wonder, okay, what is first thing we need to define is the return on investment. What is return on investment? We use the term very often. You hear this term, and obviously the whole objective of learning finance is to maximize your return on investment, right? An acronym, it's ROI, which stands for return on investment. Return on investment is basically rate of return, right? Rate of return. The symbol for rate of return is R. Okay, R stands for rate, so it's rate of return. And interest rate is a kind of rate of return, isn't it, right? Interest rate is the most basic form of return on investment. Okay, you may not consider putting money in the bank as investment, but that is the passively. I mean, if you have $10,000 and if you put $10,000 in the bank, you are passively lending money to the bank. Isn't that right? Does everyone agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Professor.
Why such a delayed response? Huh? Why such a delayed response? You may not see it that way. I mean, you don't feel like investing, but you may not feel like lending money. When you're putting $10,000 in the bank, you may not think it is lending, but think about it. Without knowing, you are passively lending to the bank. Isn't that right? And the interest, that's why you are being paid interest, because you're lending money to them. And also, from the bank's perspective, they are passively borrowing money from you. Isn't that right? They didn't ask you to lend them money, but if someone is asking to borrow money, then that's actively borrowing, right? And someone is lending you money actively, they know they are lending, but you are just passively lending to the bank if you're putting money in the bank, and the bank is also borrowing passively from you, without begging you to lend them money, right? But anyway, then the bank uses that money, right? So for you, is that investing? Yes, you are not investing in any stocks or bonds. You're not investing directly into any company, but the bank is doing that. Okay, the bank is investing your money on your behalf, but so if they invested your $10,000 into Amazon stock, and then let's say over 1 year period, Amazon grew, let's say 50%. 50%. That means Amazon, the return on the investment in Amazon is 50%. So that means $10,000 grew to $15,000. Okay, makes sense? The $10,000 grew to $50,000. So this 50% return on investment goes to the bank, right? It goes to the bank. The bank, but then the bank has to pay you interest. And how much was the interest? If the interest was 10%, if the interest rate was 10%, they will you get 10% interest. In other words, that's $1,000. Isn't that right? Because it's I think I better use let's see. Okay. It will be easier if I write down using. Okay, now let's do this. So return on investment in Amazon, right? And bank interest rate. All right, let me do this. Return on investment in the bank. This is drawing with the mouse, so it's not really, it's not like, return on investment in the bank is your interest rate, right? That's not. So think about it. You put your $10,000, 10K, your principal. You put your $10,000 to the bank, in the bank, and they are supposed to give you 10% return. So that means.
They give you 1,000.
Say that again.
So then your return
Someone
on
say.
investment would be 1,000.
Can you say that again? I think there's some.
Sorry. So then your return on investment would be 1,000 because it's 10% of 10,000. I don't know. Maybe I have to turn off my volume. It's going to be 11,000. Yeah, I mean, if you are saying 1 year later, you're going to have. It's called, oh, did you say 11,000? Oh, I said that your return is going to be 1,000. So 1,000 added to your
Yeah. Your
principal
return is in dollars. In dollars, it's going to be. In dollars, it's going to be 1,000 because it's 10% of 10K, right? So 1 year later, there's going to be principal and interest of, so principal and interest is together called future value. So future value at time 1. So, And since your principal was 10K and your interest is 1K, 1,000, right?
So 1 year later, you're going to have 11K there, right? And that 11K is called future value, okay? The thing is, look, when the bank put this 10K, your money, right, into Amazon, and if Amazon gave 50% return, the bank is making 40% because they will have to, give you the interest of 10%, right? Interest rate of 10%, which is 1K, 1,000 in dollars, right? So in dollars, the bank got 5K from investing 10K into Amazon, and out of 5K, they pay you 1K. Well, it's obvious, the bank. And you might wonder, do you have any objection to the bank keeping 40% to itself, for itself? Do you have any objection to that? If you were this person putting 10,000 in the bank, are you happy that the bank is keeping 40% and just returning you 10%? Obviously, it's a common. What is that? Yes or no? This is not any serious question, but obviously,
Yeah, ideally, no.
Yeah, you would be happier. You would be happier if it was you who put the money into Amazon directly.
Yes.
Isn't it right? But if you put the money into Amazon, this is only a good case scenario, right? What if in the bad case scenario, the return was, in the bad case scenario, right? In the bad case scenario, if there was return on investment on Amazon, in Amazon, in the bad case scenario, what if that was 0% or even negative? Let's say just 0%, right? Well, then you would say otherwise. I mean, it's a good thing you put the money in the bank because you still get 10% because it's a promised rate. The bank will have to live up to that. But by paying you 10%, the bank's return is actually negative 10%. Isn't that right? Everyone understands this, right? There's no problem. If they pay you still 10%, it's really difficult, because I'm drawing with mouse. It's not drawing with a pen. It's very difficult to write it correct because I'm drawing these things with the mouse. So everyone is clear about this, isn't it right? If return on investment in Amazon was 0%, the bank still has to pay out, give you interest of 10%. So actually, the bank will suffer from a negative 10% return. Make sense? Yes or no? Nobody's.
Yes.
Yes. It's not
Yes.
really anything serious just yet, So then think about it. One thing I said, bank interest rate is return on investment, right? It's a return on investment. But
unlike return on investment in the stock, if you're directly investing in Amazon stock, if things turn well, then you make 50% return. If things turn badly, then you get 0% return. But even if the bad case scenario, you still get 10% return on your money because you lended it to the bank, right? So the bank interest rate is a risk-free return on investment, isn't it right? Bank interest rate is risk-free or riskless return on investment. Make sense? Everyone gets that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's that's one benefit of lending rather than directly investing. But again, in reality, what is the bank interest rate? In reality, what's the bank interest rate like in reality?
Less than 1%.
Yeah, 0.1%. Actually, it's not even. There's no such thing as 10%. It's just a hypothetical example. There's no such thing as in reality, no such thing as 10% bank interest rate. Yes. Now, also, now let's turn the table around. Most of you use the bank. I believe most of you are using the bank to save your money, right? To invest, to save your money. So you are a lender. Passively, you become a lender in this case, and the bank is becoming passively a borrower. But turn the table around. You can borrow money from the bank too, isn't that right? You borrow money from the bank. Actually, think about it. Student loan, car loan, home mortgage. Those are the situations. Where you are the borrower and the bank is the lender, isn't that right?
Yes.
And in your life, more likely, there will be a time when you have to borrow money from the bank. I mean, some of you may have student loan. Some of you may have a car loan, right? Some of you may have home mortgage. I don't think any of you have home mortgage, but these are the situations. And in your life, there will come a time when you have to borrow money from them. And when you borrow money from the bank, at what interest rate do you borrow? At what interest rate do you borrow? Does anybody have any idea? Anybody ever borrowed money from the bank? Is there anyone who has ever borrowed money from the bank?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, me.
Yeah. Your average age must be somewhere around 19, 20, right? At best. And at that age, you don't borrow money from the. But if suppose you borrowed money from the bank, the interest rate, older interest rate is always quoted as annual. Interest rate is always quoted as annual rate. So it's called APR, right? Annual percentage rate, APR. Also, the return on investment is all basically expressed as annual. Okay, so it's the annualized rate of return, annualized. Of course, you can convert annual return into quarterly return or monthly return, or the other way around. You can just calculate monthly return and convert it into annual return, or you can calculate quarterly return and convert into annual return, and vice versa. But still, the most basic most basic unit of rate of return is annual. Okay, so APR, annual percentage rate. So if you are borrowing money from the bank, and let's say you're, car finance, you're buying a car, right? And when you're buying a car, of course, you get, you finance it, meaning you borrow from a lender. If you're buying a house, you borrow from a lender. And then, even if you, the interest rate you get, there's no single interest rate. You understand? When you borrow, when you put your money in the bank, when you put your money 10K into the savings account, there is a uniform, the interest rate is 0.1%, no matter where, no matter whether you go to the Citibank, Chase, Bank of America, or whatever, TD Bank or Greenpoint, whatever, Wells Fargo, open a savings account, see how much interest you get. Very immaterial, 0.1%, no matter who you are, no matter what bank, right? But when you borrow money,
So
suppose you're borrowing,
based upon
yeah,
your credit, it can be anywhere from 5%
exactly,
to 30%.
exactly. Who said that? Who said that?
Safia.
Who said that? Huh? Who is that?
Safia.
Please enunciate. I don't know everybody's name just yet. Please enunciate.
Safia.
Sophia.
Safia.
Sophia. So Safia.
Yes.
Okay, Sophia. Look, yeah. So you earn. This is a good answer, right? I mean, so you earn 0.5. Okay, extra point. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that this is not a great answer, but the question was not really that complex question. The question wasn't that difficult question, but so this is a good answer. So I give you extra 0.5. Where was I? Yeah, it depends on your interest rate when you borrow. Depends on your credit score or credit rating. Okay. So then, if you have a good credit score, and good credit score is usually above like 780, I don't know, 720 or so, and if you are around, like 840, 830, 840, that's as high as you can get. Okay, and of course, depending on credit rating agency, there could be a slight difference, but if your credit score is 130 by one agency, it would be pretty close by another agency as well. Now, the thing is, even if you have excellent credit rating, still the interest rate will be somewhere around 2% to 3% if you borrow. Now, think about it. Think about it. The borrowing rate, when you borrow, you have to pay like, let's say, 3% interest, and you have an excellent credit score. If you have a poor credit score, if you have a mediocre credit score, it could be 8%, it could be 10%, right? But say your interest rate, borrowing rate is 3%, but when you put your money in the bank, no matter what, it's going to be 0.1%. So suppose, and the bank is, when bank is lending money, where did it come from? Suppose you're borrowing $10,000 from the bank, right? You're borrowing $10,000 from the bank, and your borrowing rate is 3%. Where did this $10,000 come from?
Someone else.
Yeah, someone
Another
else.
person
Yes.
put their money into the bank.
Right. And what interest rate does this another person get?
0.01.
0.1. So think about it. Bank is actually mediating between
Making money.
a depositor and a borrower, and when that another person's 10K, they just transfer it to you, and they charge 3% to you, and then they pay 0.1% to the depositor, to that another person. Then how much is the bank making? The bank is making 2.9%.
0.9.
Yeah, 9%. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So this is called, what is this called? It's called spread. It's called spread. Okay. The difference between the borrowing rate and the lending rate is called the spread. That's the main source of the bank's income. Okay. Of course, bank is not only lending money to you. I mean, think about it. They can invest that 10,000 to Amazon stock, but of course, then there's a risk, right? That investment in Amazon stock could turn into 50% return on investment or 0% return on investment. If you lose everything, that's 0%. I mean, the worst case scenario is losing everything. You cannot, right? But the bank is taking the risk. When they, of course, you will be taking the risk too if you are investing directly to Amazon, right? But if you are taking no risk. If you are just lending money to the bank, and if also bank is taking no risk, if they are lending to an excellent credit borrower. Make sense? Bank is taking almost zero risk. I said almost zero risk, not perfectly riskless, not perfectly risk-free, but bank is taking almost no risk if they are lending to someone with excellent credit score, and they are making almost risk-free 2.9%. That's the reality. And if they are lending to someone with a very bad credit score, they may charge 10%. But think about it. A borrower with bad credit score is a huge risk to the bank, to the lender, to any lender. Someone said something? So someone with a bad credit score is a huge risk to the lender. So the lender will have to compensate for that risk by charging higher interest, by charging higher interest rate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now here's something we need to clarify. I use the term borrowing rate and lending rate, and the difference between the two is called spread. Interest rate spread specifically, because spread can be everywhere. In different contexts, there's foreign exchange spread, foreign exchange, but what is the borrowing rate? When you borrow money from the bank? No, actually that's called the lending rate. Why? You might wonder, why? I'm borrowing, not lending. No, it's from the bank's perspective, right? It's from the bank's perspective. When you borrow money, the bank is lending, you are borrowing. So it's called lending rate from the industry perspective. You understand? From the industry perspective. And
Yes.
when you put your money in the bank, right, you are lending to the bank, but it's called borrowing rate, once again, from the industry perspective, right? So when we say borrowing rate and lending rate, you have to put yourself in the industry perspective, okay? All right. So then let's go back to the slide. And before we go back to the slide here, I want to clarify a couple of things. Now, P stands for, you understand this acronym? P, what do you think it stands for? What do you think it stands for? Principal, right? Did you say principal?
Yes.
Okay, and who was that? Safia? Okay. All right. This is relatively easy question and easy answer. So I will still give you 0.25 point for that. It's an average answer, but the question was not that challenging, right? So the total you earned, 0.75 extra points today already. But then what is the zero? What is the subscript? What is the subscript?
Is it the initial?
Initial? Yeah. Zero means time zero. Time zero, the initial time. Time zero is, let's say, you put this 10K in the bank on January 1st, 2021. And then 1 year later, you will earn 10% interest, right? So 1 year later, there will be time one, right? But time zero is the initial time. So, and if you put another, okay, so 1 year later, there will be $11,000. That's called FV1. But before I move on, who said initial time?
Abul.
Huh? Abul? Is that Abul? A-B-U-L? Abul, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting 0.5 extra point for answering that question. Yes, initial, it stands for initial time. Zero is the time zero. That's the origin of time, origin of our timeline. I mean, I'm not saying that's when the Earth started, that I'm not saying that is the, the prehistoric time when the Earth was formed. I'm just saying that is the origin of time, our timeline, origin of our timeline, initial time. So FV1, 1 year later, there will be FV1. And what does that FV stand for? What does that FV stand for?
Future value.
Future value. And who was that?
Abul.
Who said that? Oh, no. Okay. All right. This is, so you get 0.25 for that. And then subscript 1. Now
I
it's
have a
obvious.
question.
Yeah, hold on. So FV1 then stands for future value at time 1. Make sense? So time 1 is, if time 0 is the beginning of this year, time 1 is the end of this year, as well as, can you answer that? Anybody? If
A year from when you put it in.
Yeah. So, if time 0 is the beginning of this year, time 1 means the end of this year, as well as
A year from when you put the money in originally.
Yeah. But that's the end of this year. That's the end of this. That's a year from when you put the money in. That's clearly end of 1 year from when you put the money in. That will be the end of this year, right? That's true. But then, what is another interpretation of end of this year?
Finishing.
I know.
Annual,
But listen, time 0 is
annually.
Yes, it's annual because it's 1 year from time zero. It's 1 year from time zero. And remember, time zero means beginning of this year, right? So time one is the end of this year, but also it is, think about it, can anyone give another definition to that? If time one is the end of this year, it is also what?
Start of the next
End
one.
of our timeline? I don't know.
It's
End
when
of our
it
timeline?
matures.
What? Who said that? Say that again. Say that again. What did you say?
I said it's when it matures after, I guess, a certain number of time.
Yeah. It matures, at the end. But look, our timeline doesn't have to necessarily end at the end of this year. Think about it. If you're not going to withdraw your money at the end of this year, you're gonna still keep it in the bank. You're still gonna continue to keep it in the bank. I mean, it could be, then you can keep it for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. If our entire timeline is 5 years, right? At least, there will be time
like
one, time
borrowing,
two.
like end of the
Say that
borrowing.
again?
It's like end of
No,
the
say that
borrowing.
again.
Like
No, say
finishing,
that again.
like finishing the borrowing that you taking a
No.
borrow.
At
The end of the
you
like
didn't
end
borrow
of
money. You didn't borrow money. You put the money. You didn't borrow money. Listen, you didn't borrow money. You put money in the bank.
And start the next year.
Oh, yeah, yes. Can you say that again?
It finishes the first year, but it starts the next year.
Yeah, exactly. Who is that?
Gabriel.
Can you spell your name?
Griel.
Gabriel?
Yeah.
Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel. I'll give you 0.5 point for that. Yes, think about it. End of time one means end of this year as well as the beginning of the next year. The beginning of the second year as well. Isn't that right? Think about it. What is the end of this year? I mean, December 31st, 11:59 and then 0 hour. 11:59 and 12 midnight. 1 minute later, it's going to be 12 midnight. 12 midnight is the end of this year, but also is 0 hour, beginning of the second year. Isn't that right?
Is it always an
Yeah.
annual value?
What?
Is it always within a 12-month fiscal year value? Like, for example.
Oh, no. It can be, your timeline doesn't have to be annual. I mean, you can, it's called holding period, right? It's called holding period. Okay. Holding, my mouth. Holding period is not necessarily in years. It could be 2 years and 3 months. 2 years and 3 months is actually 27 months, right? It could be 3 years and 10 months. I mean, nobody actually, puts the money and holds the money in the bank exactly by annual time frame. But just to simplify our thought experiment, we are just assuming, we are simplifying the holding period in years. Okay, everyone is clear about that? Everyone? So in other words,
Yes.
I mean, you're not necessarily putting this money, you're not necessarily putting this money in the bank conveniently on January 1st, 0 hour. I mean, nobody goes to the bank at 0 hour, right? Nobody goes to, the bank is not open at 0 hour. But, I'm just hypothetically. So you can put money in the bank on, let's say, March 1st. You can put money in on March 1st or March 25th. But then your 1 year time frame will be, so your time 0 will be then March 25th this year, and your time 1 will be end of March 24th next year, right? What's important is it has to be annual so that the rate will be annual. Rate of return will be annual. Okay?
So the holding period can be any time a person decides to put their money, right?
Right, right.
Like
We are just trying, yeah, we are just simplifying it for our thought experiment so that it will be all, annual. And we are assuming that it begins on January 1st and ends at. But think about it. Yeah, we all know this, when New Year, when they strike, New Year in, like they're all counting, the ball drops in Times Square, and from already 11 o'clock, the news camera is all there. People are dancing, and, and they, when it is 11:59, they start counting, right? Or 11:59, 50 seconds, then, they start counting, 10, 9. And then once, it is 12 midnight, the ball drops, and that's the beginning of the new year, end of the first year, but the beginning of the second year. So they are, it's the same point. It's the same point. So time 0 was, beginning. If it is the original initial time, time 1 is the end of the first year, beginning of the second year, right? Okay. So here, what's the time? Okay, I think so let's go back to the slide. So now you get the idea. You understand what this acronym stands for. What do you think HPR stands for?
Holding period rate.
Holding period return. Holding period return. And I said, okay, who said that? Who said that? Gabriel again. Okay, I'm going to give you 0.25. Of course, this is not necessarily, not a challenging question at all. But you got it. So overall, so how do we calculate the holding period return? Now, first, think about it. This symbol, right? What do you think PT stands for? And PT is like, okay, once again, let me put it here. This is a generalized notation. First of all, PT plus N minus PT. Okay, what does P stand for? Now, yeah, in our previous example, P was principal, but in a broader context, P stands for price. Okay, now why? Because if you're not just putting your money in the bank, you can also use the money, 10K, to buy like 100 shares of or 10 shares of Amazon. Of course, Amazon is not $100, but let's say Amazon, just hypothetically, Amazon is $100. I think Amazon is like 2,000 something currently, but let's say if you have 10K, and if Amazon is $100 currently, the price is $100. With 10K, how many you can buy? How many shares can you buy? How many shares can you buy? If Amazon is $100, if $100 a share, with 10K, how many shares can you buy?
100?
10K. Yeah, 100 shares.
100?
You can buy 100 shares. Yeah. And this is just arithmetics, simple. So you got the right answer, but no points just yet. And then so this is, in other words, it's like and obviously the value of those 100 shares is 10K exactly, isn't that right? Because you paid. Mouse again. You paid $100. What's going on? You paid $100 and you bought 100 shares. So the total value of your investment is exactly 10K, isn't that right? Exactly 10K. And let's say, so you bought Amazon today, and the price of Amazon at time 0 is $100. So price, when you say price, it's per unit. Of course, it's per share, isn't it right? Price is always, per share. I mean, you can buy 100 shares, and total value of your investment holding, right? Total value of your Amazon holding is 10K, but the price is always unit price. Price is always individual, right? Individual share. It's $100. So you held it for 5 years. Let's say you held it for 5 years. And during those 5 years, Amazon share price grew 100% over 5 years. Okay? So then what does that mean? P5, a subscript, that's a subscript. It should be a smaller font, but since I'm using the mouse to draw it, that's the best I can do. So P0 is $100. P5 is what then?
500?
Come on. No. I said it grew
What was the
100%.
question, Professor? It's like bad connection. I can hear you.
You got to pay attention, because I said over 5 years, Amazon stock, Amazon share grew 100%. So then price in year 5, price at the end of year 5, what's it going to be?
500.
Why is it 500?
That's what I thought too.
Because it's increased to the 100%.
Yeah, 100% over 5 years.
It's gonna be 100.
Why 100? If it is 100, you're still here. Price at time 0 was 100, and over 5 years it grew 100%. So then what should be the price 5? What should be P5?
So it's not 500, right?
It's not 500, because is 500, if it grew to 500, is it 100% growth?
No.
Exactly. Listen, if the price at the end of year 5 is 500, then it's 400% growth. Isn't it right?
So it's a 50.
Why is it 50? 50 it didn't grow. It didn't grow. It actually shrank. If it is 50, it's not growth. It's actually it shrank. It's negative growth. Actually, think about it. 5 years later, if it's $50, then you lost 100%. I mean, you lost 50%.
So if it grew 100%, I'm assuming that you're multiplying by 100. So 100 times 100.
200.
No, 100% is what?
Zero.
Is
Huh?
it 110?
No.
Zero.
200.
Huh? Who's someone? What did you say?
200.
Yes. Who was that?
Abul. So if it's 100%, it's going to be 100 plus the 100 that you have at
Yes.
the beginning.
Cool. Okay. Now I'm gonna give you 0.2, another 0.25. But this is really, really. I mean, this is not. This is just an average answer actually, because it's arithmetics, right? 100% of $100. I mean, if it grew, 100% of $100 is another $100. So if it grew by 100%, it should be $200. Isn't it right?
Yeah.
This is a common. This is a just a common. It's logic, right? Okay, so hold on. Let me. I think I need more. I gotta erase to give it some space. Yes, 100%. That's 100% growth. So I said the difference is $100, right? In other words, and that's 100% growth over 5 years. And when some people said 500, you were thinking, what were you thinking? You know, what you did was, 100% growth every year. If it grew 100% every year, then it would be 500. But I didn't say that. I said it grew 100% over 5 years. Right? Grew 100% over 5 years. Then you might think, oh, then it must be 20% growth a year. No, it's not like that. It's actually less than 20% growth a year. Still have the same, but that's what we're gonna get to later. So this increase, so your stock, Amazon share, 5 years later grew 100%, and its value, its share price is $200. So the increase in share price is $100. And what is this called? What is this called? This increase in share price is called, anybody?
Return on investment.
Return on investment? No, return on investment is percentage. Return on investment is the rate. It's not dollar value. Return on investment is always in terms of rate, so it's always percentage. If it is dollars, it's called capital gain. It's called capital gains. Okay, everyone? Yes, that is called capital gains. K for capital. And then, so think about it. The notation I used, P5 and P0. But suppose to generalize it, if instead of 0, we just, put T, then to generalize, so then we annotate where T is 0. And then what is T plus N? What is T plus N?
Is it 5?
Yeah, it's 5. And that means, what is N? T plus N is 5, so then what is N?
5.
5, yes, you're right. I'm trying to draw ampersand. So this is the generalized notation, right? This is the generalized notation. Is because P5, P0 is in a specific context, right? Because to say P0, P5, then we have to assume an example where we put money in, we bought the stock at time 0 and it will have to be 5 years later. But look, that was just our example, and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be only 5 years later. It could be 7 years later. I mean, how do you make this applicable regardless of the scenario, right? The reason we are using algebraic notation is to make it applicable under any circumstances, under any under any context. So the price of the stock doesn't have to be 100. It could be 150. It could be 1,000. It could be $2,000. But $1,000 or $1,050. All these things are put the input data that are specific to a specific situation, right? So to have a generalized notation, that's why we use algebra. Okay, so then we can apply this where T0 and n can be anything. N can be 7, right? N can be 10. Then we can assume a situation where you put where P0 was $1,000, and actually if if n is 10, that's going to be 10 years later, right? 10 years later, the price, and we enter the data for 10 years later there, the price of the stock. Or we can also put it this way, because future is unknown. I mean, if time 0 is now, oh no, I shouldn't have saved this. That's okay. Suppose if time 0 is now, right? If time 0 is now, time t plus time 5 or time 7 is 5 years into the future, 7 years into the future. We don't know the price yet, right? We don't know P5, we don't know P7 because it's in the future. So, but if it is the past data, we have a past, we have the data. So if time 0 is the price now, and suppose 5 years ago, you bought Amazon 5 years ago. Now, how would you represent it? Amazon is, let's say, $200 now. 5 years ago, it was $100. Okay? It's the same scenario, but P0, because we don't know what the price in 5 years is going to be, what we can do is we can subtract the initial time was 5 years ago, right? That's when you bought it. And now is time 0. So we can put it this way. P subscript minus 5. So time minus 5. T T minus 5 is what? That's past. Make sense? Everyone, nobody's saying anything. So
Yes.
yeah, that makes sense, isn't it? Doesn't it? Right? It's not like, baffling or stupefying or, right? If P5 is future, time 5 is 5 years from now, time minus 5, T minus 5 is the past, 5 years. So now we can talk about this formula, right? What's the time? Oh. You understand what this is, right? This is the price of the asset, not just stock. Asset is more broad category. Asset can refer to stock, bonds, even real estate, or even cash in the your cash in the bank, your deposit in the bank. Now, so this makes sense. I mean, this is the price of the asset n years from now, and this is the price of the asset now, and this is the price of the asset now. So price of the asset now is the price that you paid, right? And price of the asset in the future is it can grow or it can drop, right? Bitcoin was like $60,000, and I don't like Bitcoin. First of all, it's a pyramid scheme. It's there's nothing in Bitcoin, but it's only a market craze. So Bitcoin was like $60,000. I mean, when it was $30,000, and when it was $30,000, let's say like 6 years ago, and it was like $60,000. It grew to $60,000. It's not really growth. It's just a speculative bubble. It went up to $60,000 somewhere around last year. Now it's down to $30,000. Look, price of any asset, and Bitcoin is not even an asset. Price of an asset doesn't always grow. It can go down, it can go up, but if it goes down, this will be negative, right? In other words, your capital gains is no longer capital gains, but capital loss. Make sense? But capital loss can still be, okay. So I'm gonna let me put that formula here. So defining holding period return. If I define holding period return, okay. This is terrible because and my mouse freezes up every once in a while. Instead of PT plus N, I can do PT minus N. Okay, so PT minus N is what? That's the price of the asset N years ago, right? That's the price of the asset N years ago. So you bought N years ago, you bought the Amazon stock for $100. And N years later, then it's going to be time T, which is now. Amazon stock is $200. Okay, you see, You see the connection between the two? Okay. So $100 was your initial investment. So PT minus N is your initial investment. Okay, which was 100. And PT is, price now. If it is $200, there was, capital gain. But suppose it was the other way around. It was, suppose it was, suppose it was $200 5 years ago. You paid $200 to buy Amazon, and today, 5 years later, today, Amazon is 100. Then what? Is there a capital gain?
No, it's a loss.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no capital gain. There's capital loss. Okay. If this is the case, there's capital loss. But again, capital loss is the same thing as negative capital gain. Okay, this is, everybody's fine with that? Loss is negative gain, isn't it right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and this is negative. This means, otherwise, this is positive. This means positive, right? Okay, makes sense? I don't, this is a way the economists write, because they don't spell out everything because it takes too much time. Spelling out everything takes too much time. So capital loss is the same thing as negative capital gain. So if this is the case, then there was, negative capital gain or capital loss, and then the return will be negative. Okay, think about it. How do you calculate return? Return is basically capital gains. It could be again, it could be either negative, positive, or negative, right? Makes sense. It could be either positive or negative. The mouse is stuck again. You divide the capital gains is the return in dollars, right? Return on investment in dollars, but return on investment is always, once again, return on investment must be expressed. Return on investment is basically a percentage, right? It's the rate. And then initial price you paid, right? Initial price. But instead of spelling out what is initial price, it's P0 or PT minus N. That's the initial price. You don't have to write it like this. Okay? So if the capital gains was $100 and initial price you paid was 100, your holding period return is 100%. Makes sense? But if the capital gains was negative 100, if the capital gains was negative 100% and your initial price paid was $200, so in other words, you paid $200 and then 5 years later it is, the price is $100. Then there's a capital loss of $100 or negative $100, right? Negative $100. Capital gain is negative $100. Initial price is 200. And your capital gain is negative 100. So your return is negative 50%. Your return holding period return is negative 50%. You lost 50%. Isn't that right? You lost? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Then the next thing is, what is this? What is, Greek character sigma, right? What comes in Greek character sigma? Okay. So we are running out of time, and I guess let me. It's called,
Total?
huh?
I mean,
It's
there was
the
like total, like kind of total.
what?
So
Lottery? No, it's called,
no, I didn't say lottery. I said total.
It's a total.
profit.
Total.
Total. No,
Total,
no.
like the
Yeah,
sum
of
of.
course. Yeah, you're right. You're right. The Greek character, that's the summation sign. Sum, right? Summation. Total. Yeah. Total of what? Total of what? These are basically incidental income. It's income. So we are running out of time. So I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow. I'm going to come back to this tomorrow, right? So we'll call it a day because we're out of time. It's 8:08. We still have 7 minutes to officially end, but we have taken no break. So let's call it a day now. Let's call it a day here, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
you.
6 o'clock tomorrow. All right. I'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Stop. All right, you're welcome. Stop
Good night.
Thank you,
recording.
Professor.
Professor, do I get a point for that one?
Oh yeah. You who was that? But enunciate, please.
Abrarbek.
Uh,
AB.
hold on. I gotta close. I gotta stop